It's really interesting when you think about all 32 of the Capstone teams. They're all so different. They've got different projects, different needs, they're approaching it differently. It's exactly what we're hoping. But there's one thing that's actually super common amongst all of them. Every team is creating a massive amount of information. But we've got to ask ourselves, what's going to happen to this information? And there's one particular kind of information that we want to talk about right now, and we're going to call it the design package. And you're going to need to create a design package, and so our goal is to help you right now understand what the design package is and get you in the best position to create a great one.
We have 7 things that we think you'll need to know about the design package in order to make the best use of your time in meeting your sponsor's needs.
We've listed out some of those on the board here, so let's just talk about them.
First, what is a design package?
The design package is the information used by the production system to manufacture the product and assess its quality.
What's the relationship in your mind between the design package and the report?
That's a great question. The design package is in the report.
Probably the design package constitutes the largest fraction of the volume of the report, but mostly your final report is a description of your project and how good the final design is, coupled with the design package.
Okay, so what goes in the design package?
It includes what we normally think of, which is the design definition you've been working on, but it also includes part of the tests and part of the requirements. It includes those tests that are essential to prove that the product has been manufactured correctly, and it includes the requirements that will say whether or not the tests have a desirable outcome.
Might as well have an example of that right now. All right, this is a docking station. When the design package for this product was created, it had the complete definition of the geometry, the materials, the circuitry, the needed wiring, and all of that kind of stuff to create the product. But it also had something else. There was a note in the drawing that said, this surface is a Class A surface for cosmetics, this surface is a Class B surface for cosmetics, and if you take the thing apart, all the surfaces on the inside are a Class C surface. And this is defined in the drawing. And the notes on the drawing said, Class A surface must meet the requirements according to document XYZ, and then the name of the document was listed out, and the spec was included as part of the design so that the manufacturing group knew precisely what kind of cosmetic quality needed to be associated with the product when it came off of the manufacturing line. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, because the manufacturing company needs to produce the part that's consistent with your design intent, the requirements and the tests that verify the quality of these surfaces need to be part of the design package.
But let me add the test on top of that, okay? So it turns out that for this cosmetic requirement, there is also a test associated with it. And it said at 36 inches on primary surface, you will see no blush mark larger than 1 millimeter or something like this, and you will not see more than 2 blush marks of 1 millimeter size within 1 square inch.
That information is always a little bit more detailed than design teams tend to think of, because design teams tend to think that what's in their head will be obvious to everybody. And so we have to be that specific, even though we as designers tend to not think like that way.
Yeah, and the bottom line actually is that anything that can be misinterpreted will be misinterpreted. All right, the third thing we want to talk about is, why do we even want to make a design package?
Design package is what it takes to get your ideas implemented in the real world. You've spent lots of time thinking, worrying, sweating, working the details, testing, evaluating, and you have a great idea. If it's not transferable to the production system, it never gets made.
Yeah, it stagnates. It just stops.
It just stops. You leave, nothing else happens. A design that never turns into a product isn't much of a design.
Yeah. Or it wasn't worth the effort.
It wasn't worth the effort.
Yeah.
Right?
How do we check it?
So it's important when we check to remember we're looking for the needle in the haystack. We have to find the problems that are certain to exist.
And I use this philosophy all the time when I worked in industry, checking drawings. I assumed at that moment that there was an error, and it was my job to find it. And after I went through my best effort to find it and I could not find an error, then I felt comfortable signing the document, approving the document. All right, next thing that I think really helps with this kind of thing is to imagine yourself using the information that you're checking. So for example, if you're checking an engineering drawing, okay, you might take that engineering drawing in your hand and you might envision what would happen if you went into the machine shop. Would you know what stock to get? Would you know how to start making the cuts and where the cuts would be? And if you look at the features of the product, would you be able to determine the depth of a channel or the depth of a hole or the diameter of a hole or whatever it might be? And doing that, you can often find some problems. Another thing that will help in checking your design package is to use the checking drawings section of the development reference section of the book. This has a lot of good tips that will help you through the process. All right, let's go on to the next piece, which is who will use it? Who will use the design package? Clearly, the production system will use the design package to manufacture the product and assess its quality. But that's not the only group that's going to use the design package. Also, the development team will use the design package, and they'll use it in two ways. One way is that they will use it to communicate with the production system. It will be the primary anchor that both the production system and the development team go back to again and again and again as they work through problems, answer questions, negotiate deals, and that sort of thing. And then the other way that the design package is used by the product development team is that it's used as the product continues to evolve through post-release refinement. The product development team is continuously going back to the design package, looking at the current revisions of particular parts or components, making changes, and then releasing a new version. Now, one of the reasons why the design package ends up being referred to by both the production system and the design team is that it is some of the most accurate information that exists about the design at this point. After the release, how is the design package revised?
It's really important, once the design package has been released, that no changes are made without the full approval of everybody who's influenced by the change. So the process we use is the engineering change order process, which is described in the development reference of the textbook.
As you know, when you're working on a project, you're creating all this information. Someone on your team's got a set of files. You've got a set of files. There's always that question as to what is the latest piece of information. And the ECO, the engineering change order, defines the files, the revisions of those files that represent the current design.
As a matter of fact, it's very common that the mechanism of actually releasing the design package is to create an ECO that formalizes everything that's in the design package.
All right, let's talk about this last piece here, managing the creation of the design package. It's going to be a big deal to create this design package. It's an important culminating event. Have any tips for these guys on how to do that?
So my first tip is you should identify the stuff that needs to be in the design package as soon as possible. If you can identify every artifact that needs to be in the design package, you'll have your marching orders for what it's going to take to complete your project. The bill of materials can be your friend, because the bill of materials lists all the components in your design. If you have something in your design package that fully defines what is needed to produce or purchase and measure the quality in the production system of every item in your bill of materials, you'll be pretty assured of having what you need to make your design package complete and accurate.
So that's it. That's the design package. You now have your job to go create the design package. We hope that the answers to these questions have helped you just a little bit in understanding your job and how to succeed at doing it.
And remember, you have a coach who knows about a design package. Take advantage of the coach's expertise. Let them help you. If you have questions your coach can't answer, we're happy to help as well.